Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick, new Netflix series, Sense8 from Wachowski, Starship, and J. Michael Straczynski, if I'm saying that right, William Bibbiani, Francis Maxwell, Alonso Duralde. I loved this. I was immediately into it. It's so ambitious, so crazily Wachowski ambitious to have a pilot with 8 major characters in it, and obviously, we didn't get to know the, bride-to-be in Mumbai or the bus driver in Nairobi, as well as we got to know the cop in Chicago or the DJ in London. But I imagine they're going to get their moments.
I feel like we know everything we need to know about that bus driver. Sorry, I spilled coffee on my shirt. I feel like we got to know everything we need to know about that bus driver from his obsession with Jean-Claude Van Damme in 2015. I feel like that's all you need to know about a person.
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. And I was even thinking, like, how are they going to compete with Bat Van? Are they going to do like Wolf Van Reen? Like, I don't know how they're going to do this. This show.
Avengers.
Ooh,
Avengers.
I like it. Here's the thing with the show. I think I've read some criticism of the show that if everyone's like, oh, there's a lot of the characters fall into a lot of cliches and there's not a lot being explained. My 2 responses to that, I'm not quite as high on it as you are, but I'm very interested. One, when you have 8 characters, you don't have a lot of real estate to introduce them, and so you kind of fall into a lot of shorthand, especially early on, as you introduce them. So I was fine with all of these quick bullet points, getting the gist of everyone, as long as I assume we'll expand on it later. And yeah.
I mean, I agree with
there was a second thing in there.
There was a second thing in there.
I agree with what you're saying because it is a show that's Netflix, right? So as you said before, when it came to Daredevil,
that's the thing. You
expected to binge watch it. So yes, you weren't exactly given all the context you might need to get thoroughly involved in this show. But again, it's the Wachowski brothers. It's the same guys I mentioned to you that did
the Wachowskis.
Wachowskis. Sorry, my bad.
They asked to be called Wachowski Starship, and now they're credited as the Wachowskis. And I'm like, damn it. You had an opportunity to be called something Starship. Take it.
It's my fault. I'm getting confused. But as I said to you before, it's like this is the same people that didn't introduce us to the architect in the Matrix till the later end of the second movie when it could have been introduced earlier. They like to take their time, and with a Netflix show that they can take a lot more liberties, they're in no rush to tell you what's going on. And I wasn't exactly taken back by that. Again, I'm not as high on it as you are at the moment.
Okay.
I'm interested. I'm very interested in it. I think they could have executed certain scenes differently, but...
Yeah, I'm very excited about the Wachowskis working on television. But the Wachowskis are sometimes very divisive. But what I always admire about them is that they're always shooting for the rafters. They're always really they take ideas that seem very mainstream on the surface and they never come at them in the most conventional way possible. Some people like reject Jupiter Ascending for that. I thought Jupiter Ascending was great.
I had a blast of that movie.
I love it. You're quoted on the DVD of that
I know,
movie.
it's crazy. They were that desperate. But I think though that if Jupiter Ascending had the the liberty of being half an hour longer, that a lot more of it would have made sense.
Exactly.
I
Here they get to explore more.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. I think that 13 hours, yes, like let them unfurl this giant canvas because I think they really like to operate on that many levels. I mean, Cloud Atlas, not a movie that I thought was perfect, but I certainly appreciated the ambition. And this is also striking me as something that's very ambitious, and I really am fascinated to see how it all comes together.
There's a lot of comparisons online between that and Cloud Atlas. I wasn't thrilled by that movie either, but I remember 1996 they had a movie called Bound. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
It was very
Bound's
erotic, and I
still kind of their best
get that
movie.
Yeah, I get that idea. I get that sense from it. It's very. I can imagine it's going to be a lot involved in sex, drug, and violence. But as you mentioned, this premise has been done before. We've seen Crash, even Love Actually, and stuff like that, where people are all intertwined in each other's lives and then come together to explain it in the end. But to take that idea and put it through a completely different idea, like you said, take it what is conventional, but change it up and have them be intertwined. Mentally is a crazy storyline, and I'm really thrilled to see how it pans out.
And what I always admire the Wachowskis for doing, and for the most part they've done it on this series, is you watch a lot of movies and they may be good, they may be bad, but they're almost always about white people or just one people. And here they've always made a concerted effort to try to show different experiences and different cultures. And here they have obviously a great opportunity to do that. And they're not shying away. Like there's the Freema Agyeman and the other actress whose name I haven't caught yet. the first time we really see them is pounding away with a strap-on scene.
Yeah.
It's a close-up.
Is this
there's
TV's
fluid
first
bouncing off.
sticky dildo? I mean, I was like, whoa, okay.
It's like I'm picturing the Wachowskis like directing this, and it's just like, okay, this giant dildo is gonna drop on the floor, but there's not enough fluid on it. I want to get an arc on that bouncing fluid off of that
More
thing.
simple syrup, please.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great.
And a trans character played by a trans actress, which is exciting. And I was genuinely moved by that storyline. The scene where she talks about no one ever defended me before.
Yeah.
Even the let's do a dance piece about AIDS, which usually whenever there's a performance art segment in a movie or TV show, it's like I'm right out because it's so often so ham-fisted. And this one I thought was actually quite lovely for something that was so short. It really made its point and. I agree with you. So often when something is set on like a global stage, that usually means the U.S., Paris, and Tokyo.
Yeah.
And here we're in Mumbai, we're in Nairobi, we're in Latin America. Like they are really spanning the
all
globe.
thin.
And they all speak English.
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
bet that's a Netflix thing.
That's gotta be a
I
Netflix
bet
thing.
if the
That's
Wachowskis had their druthers, it would be like a total
Completely
polyglot
different.
thing going
So
on.
what storyline would you guys say that you are more engrossed in at the moment to see? I mean, I feel like the cop storyline got a lot more of the substance in the first episode.
Sure, I find the women in San Francisco are interesting, but what's cool is, do we know which of the two of them is the one who's connected? Because
Yeah, that's
It's
what
a little hazy.
they haven't really
feel
played that as
it's
hard
the
as with the other
transgender
ones.
character.
I'm
I
assuming it's her
feel-
too, but
yeah.
just because she's got top billing. But I mean, they haven't really. She hasn't had one of those oral, visual hallucination
Yes,
moments the way the
hallucinations.
other characters have.
And that's another thing that's confusing. I think they mean to confuse you. Is you don't know. Like I assume they're all interconnected one way, but at the moment it seems like they're going in pairs. Like the blonde.
Some
DJ,
people are more
Yeah, the
interconnected.
blonde
Yeah,
DJ.
the DJ and the cop,
DJ and the cop are
but
more
now the DJ and the German Russian mobster,
Yeah.
because of the gunshots. There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm excited to see where this.
Yeah,
how they
and
do
obviously
it.
some of them get more of the short shrift. The whole section, and I think it's Korea. We don't get a lot of that. That's just like little inklings. But we spend a lot of time with the cop. Spend a lot of time with the safecracker, which I love a good safecracker story. Those
Yeah,
are
that's
really
great.
That was the other thing. It's like there's so many genres going
Yeah.
on here. Like let's go from the EDM DJ to the tense safecracking scene to the
actor?
to the actor in Mexico to the. I was like, oh, we're just all right,
yeah.
great, bring it.
Yeah. I don't know. There are little moments throughout this. The cop story, I think, is actually the most problematic for me. And it's not even because he's obviously a decent actor, but there's a lot of incidental weirdness to it. Like when he wakes up from a nightmare and immediately grabs his gun and starts waving it around his apartment, I'm just like, maybe you shouldn't keep your gun there if this is how you respond to every nightmare. I feel like that's a bad thing. But then when he takes the gunshot victim to the hospital, and they're like, we don't treat gunshot wounds anymore, we're a better hospital. I'm like, is that really a thing?
And I
really
actually
is.
totally buy that.
Okay,
I would totally.
but here's okay, fine. I'm sorry, but fine, you buy it. Here's the real problem with it, though. At the end, he's like, yeah, well, we saved this kid's life. Now, if he shoots a cop, how are you going to feel about that? That's not your job, young lady,
Yes.
to judge the people who come in and say, like, you don't deserve to live.
No, look, and I don't think she's saying that. I think she is exploring the moral dilemmas of the interplay between cops and gangbangers, as the other cop calls them, in the inner city. And I don't think that the show is saying one way or another.
Oh, of course not. It's just a weird moment for me.
I believed that conversation.
Do you believe this is maybe a bigger conversation? Do you believe that they intentionally included this storyline as a means to ask the bigger question that we face in society today, especially in the United States, with the problem between cops and those who are protesting against cops?
I'm sure they're comfortable alluding to
I'm
it.
sure.
I'm sure that that's part of the backdrop. I suspect that part of them is thinking this is a pilot. We got to get people in. It's probably easier to grab people with the, cop shooting and the safe cracking than with the, Indian arranged marriage and the African bus driver. We'll get to them, but I think they know they got to grab us early with this.
And that's something that actually J. Michael Straczynski, the other writer we haven't really talked about, he's really good at that in his material. I find that he's really good at the eye-grabbing, high concept.
He's the Babylon 5 guy.
He did
right?
Babylon 5. He did that comic book series, Rising Stars. I have some.
Oh, and
with
Changeling, right? That Clint Eastwood movie. Didn't he write that?
Yeah. And then he did a problematic run on Spider-Man, but whatever. But like, that's something he's always been excellent at, is grabbing you. But the question is, will he have the follow through? But I think with the Wachowskis and him working together, we might be in for something sweet.
And I know we're going to see more of Korean Banker Lady because that actress was in Cloud Atlas and Jupiter Ascending.
Yes, exactly.
So
And
I assume we're going to see more of everything.
do we get
Well, yeah,
that?
of
Do we
course.
get a Lost vibe from it as well? Because I know Saeed from Lost is in the first episode, the first scene of it. I remember that.
I
but
actually was getting a Heroes vibe.
yeah, I was going. Someone just said that
That's the thing.
outside.
Yeah,
Someone
it
said
really
that.
does feel like
And a
Heroes.
bit of advice: if you're thinking that this isn't going to be kind of creepy at the start, don't watch it at night because I was in for a petrifying experience. It's just I just kept picturing her sitting up on the mattress, and I was going to bed. I was like, I'm going to have nightmares
Oh, no,
about that.
Daryl
I didn't
Hannah.
expect it. I didn't expect that.
You're a sense to the
Oh,
eighth
jeez, I'm a
power.
Sense8. Oh no, what did I do to myself?
I don't get this title. Is it a pun that I'm not getting?
Sense8 is a word, and
Okay.
then there's 8 of them, and they have.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's not necessarily in the common parlance.
No, but it is a
Okay.
word.
But otherwise, I'm very interested in watching the rest of it. I think
the scariest thing for me was when the cop leans down on the mattress in the middle of the abandoned church. I thought, "Ooh, bed bugs!"
The hand sanitizer was so gross.
So 12 more episodes to go. We'll probably be doing this, I think, like we did with Daredevil.
A
where
few
we'll
a week,
we'll give us a chunk of 3 every week. So, if you want to speed through it, we'll be catching up with you, or take it slow with us. Take your pick. But, we'll see where this thing plays out.
if you sense it.